I'm Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Dash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and SHALAWAM to elect out there doing this work of faith and labor for love and true sincerity. All right, I want to get into a quick lesson, um, in spirit, just to show how, biblical history, matches up with secular history. All right. Um, which, of course, the biblical history is the most important, but we fill in a lot of tidbits, uh, you know, that the scriptures, because the scriptures give an outline or they'll give the base of something, but then you have to go into secular history for various points or the little nooks and crannies, if you will, and also getting into the fact of how, just a lot of people don't believe that, the Apocrypha is true and factual. And I just want to go through some pointers in the Apocrypha as well as just to show some pointers in secular history to show that it all lines up perfectly. So there's no denying the Bible. There's no denying the Apocrypha. There's no denying our history, through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. All right, so I'm going to start off with Isaiah 34:16. It reads, "Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail," meaning what, none of the prophecies, that come out of the book of the Lord. "None shall want her mate," meaning none can be tied to, compared to, or equal to the Bible, Let me look up that word mate to see if they give anything. It says a female companion, mate, neighbor, woman, female associate, desire, study of anything. Yeah, altera one another. So there's not another book that could be anything like these scriptures. And what it says, what female companion, mate, neighbor, woman. And because these scriptures are full of wisdom. And we know that wisdom is likened unto a woman. So hey, so they have a term out there, pretty much referring to women like, this chick is bad, so on and so forth. Hey man, there's no other chick that's better than the wisdom of the Lord, than Sophia, than Sophia. All right. Getting into wisdom, okay. For my mouth have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. So all of these words of the Holy Scriptures were given, by the Lord and inspired by man. The inspiration of man coming from the Holy Spirit. The word inspire itself, spire meaning what, to breathe, or the breath, which is the breath of the Most High. Okay. So but I want to get into, I'm going to start off with Baruch 4. So Baruch 4:1, it reads, "This is the book of the commandments of the Lord, and the law that endure forever." So many people in the churches, you so-called Christians, believe that the words of the Lord are done away with. Well, they're not. That the law is done away with, that you can do whatever you want under grace. We have grace, and it was given to us as a second chance, to uphold ourselves as righteously as possible, all right? "All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are probable unto thee to a strange nation." In which, these Edomites, you so-called white people, have taken away, our honor and the things that are profitable unto us, and tried to proclaim them to be for your own, which they are not. "O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to Yahawah are made known unto us, what this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved Yahawah to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies, for ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not to the Most High. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. All right. So, with that being said, why is the reason that we went into captivity? Because we moved the Most High to wrath, by serving other nations when we had our true and righteous living power, And what's the number one thing, a problem with Jake is that we're hard-headed, man. All right. So, and I want to get into I'm just bringing out various points, like I said, with the and in the scriptures, because I want to be outside of Deuteronomy 28, because they say that that's all we truly have, when that is a big part of this thing. But all throughout the scriptures, we have evidence, that supports our statements and that supports the scriptures. All right. So, this is Ezekiel 3:4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of an hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou cannot understand. Surely have I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-headed, hard-hearted, And let me just look up that word real quick. Well, both of these words, kazat, impudent, is kasat, meaning what, strong, severe, sharp. All right, that's plain to the point. Let me look up that word, hard-hearted. Was quasha, which says hard, cruel, severe, obstinate, fierce, stubborn, intense, vehement, stiff neck. That's another word for hard-headed. Now, who does this apply to? As far as when we're young, our parents saying you hard-headed, you hard-headed. White people don't, so-called white people don't say that to their children. Okay, but what does the nation of Israel, this you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the most hard-headed and stubbornest people upon the face of the earth? Jake is so stubborn, they'll let their pride and all of their feelings and emotions destroy them. And, just thinking, because Rocky 2 came on last night, and, I caught the tail end of it, probably like the last 30 minutes of it. And, with him Rocky fighting Apollo Creed. Creed won majority of the round, so he would have won the fight off of points alone. And his trainer told him in the corner, you said you got to win. All you got to do is stay away from him. Don't go toe-to-toe with him. But what did he do? Him and his pride, Apollo Creed and his pride, wanted to go for the knockout. And that brought him to his destruction. That caused him to lose the fight, which goes to show you, man, that we are truly the most stubborn and hard-headed people upon the face of the earth. But the time is near and dear where the Most High will remove those stony and rebellious hearts from us and give us a fleshly heart, Lord's willing, soon, that's going to be in the kingdom. All right. So, going, like I said, continuing on from this point here in Baruch, we were sold into the nations. Not only as so-called blacks and Hispanics, not only as so-called blacks were sold, but also you so-called Latin tribes, from, the conquistadors, the Spanish, the Portuguese, so on and so forth. But also to prove another point from about, the so-called Latino tribes, or the Native American tribes, right? Because, they were moved first. They were far removed from the land first, right? According to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. And it says, I'm going to start from verse 1. It says, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hosea, the son of Eli, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, Salakia, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant. and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Harbah by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. Okay, so this is all according to what? Biblical history, right? Us being the 9 tribes, you know, or the 10 tribes, you know, better said correctly, were taken away by the king of Assyria into the land of Assyria. All right, and that is all what they write about when you look into secular history. You know, this stuff is, you know, it's not just Wikipedia, and people like to knock Wikipedia, but you don't understand how Wikipedia works. Yes, anybody could put anything into Wikipedia, but they have to be substantiated by sources. And if it's inaccurate, or if something is not doesn't have a proven fact of where it came from, a source of where it came from, it will say citation needed. Okay, so there's a lot of dummy people out there that need to understand how the internet works and how Wikipedia works. So this is all factual information, you know, which I'm not going to get into, but just to prove the point that what this is all secular history, man, you know, that prove what the scriptures say. And then what over here says context, then they give what? The biblical account for it as well. But this is well known and well documented that this stuff actually happened. All right. And what is this further supported by? Us being taken into captivity under the Assyrians, right? When you go into the book of Tobit, yeah, when you go to the book of Tobit, right? Tobit 1, and this is why I say what you can't deny the Apocrypha. It's Tobit 1 and 1. The book of the words of Tobit, son of Tobiel, the son of Ananel, the son of Abdul, the son of Gabriel, of the seed of Asel, of the tribe of Naphtali, all right, who in the time of Enemasar, meaning Shalmaneser, king of the Assyrians, was led captive out of Thisbe, which is at the right hand of that city, which is called properly Naphtali, in Galilee above Asher. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the ways of truth and justice, and did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation, who came with me to Nineveh and to the land of Assyrians. Okay, so what? In the land of Nivea, and came with them to the land of Nineveh in the land of Assyrians. Now, what does it say as far as what Jonah? Was it Jonah 1 or Jonah 2? Yeah, Jonah 1 and 1 says, now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. So why was Jonah in Nineveh? Because there were Israelites there. Okay? Because what, as we got into through the history, is 2 Kings the 17th chapter, Shalmaneser took them to the land of Assyria. And this also proves is what? Clearly here within the book of Tobit in the Apocrypha. You know, so this is all plain history, man. All plain history that can be thoroughly sought out. So there's no denying the Apocrypha in its timelines, so on and so forth, man. All right. And also to further substantiate this point with the Apocrypha, as we always get into 2 Ezra 13, I'm going to get straight to the point. It says, those are the 10 tribes who were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, who was this Hosea, as you read in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, okay, who Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the waters till they were passed over. All right. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. So as they were in the land of Assyria, they took it among themselves to go to another place, which is over here in the Americas. Okay, and this is also further substantiated by various points, as I said, in secular history, man. You know, matter of fact, that word secular, just so, because I know a lot of people don't even know what that word means. To know attitudes, activities, or other things that have no religious or spiritual base. You know, so straight to the point. You know, straight to the point. So these other points of history that I bring out, they don't have a spiritual base, but yet they still lined up with everything that is spiritual as far as the scriptures is concerned, you know. And we have other books that substantiate, you know, these points, such as what Ronald Sanders, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, you know, so many other different sources that's out there, in which we really don't need. But as I said, those help to fill in the nooks and crannies as far as getting into various points of history, all right? And also, just a separate point as well, real quick, what the book of the Maccabees, okay? And it happened that after Alexander, son of Philip the Macedon, Maccabees 1:1, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. So this is all history, and you can see the timeline in which Alexander, the Greek, okay, conquered the world at that time, and it took him 12 years to conquer the known world at that time. So these are real people, okay, substantiated by real facts and real events that happened, because he made many wars, man, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, as such were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then he died. Okay, so after that, who were all of his men that he parted his kingdom amongst? And you can look that all up in secular history, because his kingdom was split up between his 4 generals. If I get the names right, I know Seleucus, Ptolemy, Cassander, and Lysimachus, if I'm not mistaken. And ultimately, all of them, you know, the other 2 were consumed. There mainly became battles between the 2 successors, Seleucus and Ptolemy. That's why you have the Seleucid Wars, you know what I'm saying, and otherwise what they know that they call them the Diadochi Wars, which is known as the Successor Wars. Okay, and you can look that up. As a matter of fact, let me just pull that up. Diadochi. Okay, and this is all what secular history that we get into. What the Diadochi, plural of Latin Diadochus, from Greek or successors, were the rival generals, families, and friends of Alexander the Great, who fought for control over his empire after his death in 323 BC. So the scriptures document this. The wars of the Diadochi marked the beginning of the Hellenistic period from the Mediterranean to the Indus River Valley. Okay, and as I said, those main two successors. Oh yeah, see, like I was right. Yeah, Ptolemy, Cassander, Lysimachus, and Seleucid. Sometimes I'll be forgetting Cassander and Lysimachus, but you know these two got consumed within the wars between the four, and the main wars came between Ptolemy the first and Seleucid the first, and their successors after them. You know, Seleucid the second, Ptolemy the second, so on and so forth, and it kept going down the line, man. So all of these things are thoroughly substantiated by the scriptures, you know, and then secondarily by secular history, and also the Maccabees itself. What does that come from? You don't really hear about that within just the scriptures itself, without the Apocrypha. But nonetheless, the history that's all throughout it is consistent, man. And that's the one thing about the Bible. And I remember the brother Rakai Kwam from London, GMS for the Most High, he did a lesson about how the Bible is constant. You know, the Bible is consistent, so on and so forth. You know, and what you can read about, you know, throughout various points of history about the Hasmonean dynasty and everything that was done with the father. You know, all of this, the five sons, so on and so forth, and going through the Apocrypha, you can see how all of these things line up with history, man. You know, so for all the people that's out there, it's many things I could go into, but you know, I just want to touch on these things briefly. But for anybody that has any doubt, go through the Apocrypha, go through the secular history, and you will perfectly see how things line up. Okay, now through secular history, they always have certain dates and things, maybe off by a year or two, so on and so forth. But hey, but all the way through, you can see that these events really happened. These are real people. You can look them up, and hey, it's all there, man. You know, the scriptures is truly the end all be all of everything. You can't know nothing within this world truly if you don't understand these scriptures, man. You know, so you know, with that, you know, I hope this short segment was edifying, and I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, and Shalawam, select out there doing this work of faith, labor of love, and true sincerity. Shalawam.